Hello everyone and welcome to moreveggiesmom.com. Today we are going to get your kids to eat cauliflower by dressing it up like sweet and sour chicken. First things first, preheat your oven to 425 degrees and then we'll get started chopping our cauliflower. To chop cauliflower, we are going to start by cutting it in half. You see this root spot inside. You're going to flip this upside down and cut all that cauliflower directly off of the stem. You can remove that, then turn it, and do it again on this side and off the very end. Then we can just go ahead and pull, we'll get rid of the leaves, pull all of these apart. Some of them are going to be much bigger. Just go ahead and cut those down to the size you would like. And that's how it's done. For this recipe, you want pretty large pieces. Anything much smaller than this you don't want to use. So I started out with 2 heads of cauliflower, and by the time I was done pulling out the smaller pieces, it was about 1.5 heads of cauliflower. The other I just put into a Tupperware, and my kids can eat that with some ranch for lunch or snack tomorrow. In this dish here, I have 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to mix that together. And then I will add 1 3/4 cup of water. I'm actually going to switch to a fork here. I don't know why I didn't have one ready already, but fork is definitely easiest to mix this up. So just mix that until it's nice and smooth. Then we're going to take a baking sheet and a cooling rack. Put that rack on top of the sheet. Cauliflower under my sheet pan here. Take our cauliflower, get it nice and coated, and put it onto the sheet here. This cuts down on your time sitting here waiting for it to all drip off, because it's, no matter how thick or thin you have this batter, it's going to drip off, and it, like, for a long time. The whole time it's sitting here, it's going to be dripping. Dripping, and it's okay if they overlap at this point. I got another baking sheet. I put some parchment paper on it. If you don't have parchment paper, you can use like a cooking spray, but use a lot of cooking spray, a lot. We're going to put these on here. They can be close together but not touching. Some mad Tetris skills to get the last couple on there. You may have to use a second sheet, but then we just put them into our preheated oven and they will stay there for about 20 minutes. While we're waiting for our cauliflower in the oven, I've started some brown rice and I'm going to do the sweet and sour sauce. So it starts with mincing 5 cloves of garlic. For a more extensive, closer look at how to do that, please visit moreveggiesmom.com and view my how-to videos. I've finished mincing that, and now I'm going to preheat a small saucepan on medium heat. In this bowl, I have 1 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of liquid aminos. Here, let me show you this. This is liquid aminos. It can be found in the health food section of most stores, and it's similar in taste, well, it's pretty much the same in taste as soy sauce, but it has far fewer ingredients. There's like 15 ingredients and preservatives in soy sauce. This has 2 ingredients. Vegetable protein from non-GMO soybeans and purified water. So much healthier for you. However, it doesn't have that salty flavor. That's why I put salt in here separately. So 1/4 cup of that. We're going to do 6 tablespoons of agave nectar. Agave nectar is a natural sweetener from plants. You can find it, I usually find it in the baking aisle next to like honey syrups and things. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. That's about right. And 1 1/2 teaspoons of rice vinegar. 1 1/2 teaspoons, by the way, is equal to 1/2 tablespoon. And then sriracha, I just do a little squeeze, maybe about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of the sriracha. And then we're just gonna whisk that together. With my saucepan preheated, I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Give that a second just to warm up. And then I'm going to add my garlic. And that's the sound you should hear when it hits the pan. It's that sizzle. Let's stir that until it is nice and fragrant. Only takes about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to add the sauce and stir that in. I'm going to continue to stir until it becomes bubbly. Okay, that's nice and bubbly, so I've turned off the heat. It only took 2 or 3 minutes for that to come up. Stir it for a little bit. And then just let it cool down. Now I have a small pan here with 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. Nothing else, no oil or anything like that, no water. And turn that on to a high heat. And I'm just going to continue to shake this and let it warm until they're nicely browned. But don't let them sit in one spot for too long because then they burn quickly, so you want to keep them moving. My rice is still cooking, my sauce is finished, and my sesame seeds are all toasted. The second they were done, I pulled them right off the heat, got them onto a small plate so that they would stop cooking and wouldn't burn. I am making this with green beans, so I'm going to show you how I prepare those. Now you can, if you would like, break all of these ends off just using your fingers, but that takes forever. So the way I like to do it is kind of line them up the best I can. And just take off the ends and then turn them around and do the same thing. Line them up the best I can. Oops. And chop off the ends. Okay, and I just do that in batches and toss them right into my colander to rinse them off when I'm done. It's been 20 minutes. I took my cauliflower out of the oven. I'm going to let it cool off just a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to get started on my beans. I'm not doing anything terribly special with them today because the cauliflower is special enough. I have preheated my pan on a medium-high heat, and I'm going to put some butter in here, about a tablespoon. And I've rinsed off my beans. I'm going to give them another shake here so they don't spit at me. Go ahead and toss those in there. And we'll just keep those moving. Toss them around so that they can get the butter on them. Now, I'm going to cheat. I'm sure that if a chef saw me doing this, they would be like, wow, why would you do that? I just put a little bit of water in my lid here. I'm just going to toss it on and let it steam for a minute. While that is going, we will come over here to our cauliflower. And since we have the paper on here, it makes it easier. I'm going to slide those off, and we'll get them into a bowl, a large bowl. Okay, scrape all those off the bottom. Whoop! Try not to lose any. Get rid of that paper. Check on our beans here. They're good. They're not quite ready. Get your sauce. Pour that over the top. And then we'll give it a toss. Be nice and gentle. You don't want to pull all the breading off of it. Now you can get your sesame seeds that you toasted and just put as much or as little on there as you like. I like to do about half of it, give it a toss, and then sprinkle a little bit more on top to make it look pretty. My rice is finished, and let's check these beans. Give them a poke with your fork. Yep, crisp tender, perfect. And you'll see the bright green color too. So we'll turn that off. You can add a little bit more butter in there if you'd like. I'm just going to salt and pepper mine. And my rice, I'm just going to let my kids put liquid aminos and salt and pepper on it because that's what they like. I do a little bit of butter, and there's dinner. Sweet and sour cauliflower with green beans and brown rice.